Alright guys, welcome back to UKSG 2018, UKSG Spring 2018, because I'm pretty sure this won't be the last marathon, although I might be blind after this Densho DD run, and I have my next interview partner to my right side, who is our first, or was the first runner of our marathon, Boxmeister. Box, how do you enjoy the marathon so far?
I'm really liking it. I'm having a blast. Last run, for example, was also really great. I was sitting behind the tech desk for a little bit, enjoying the music, enjoying the flashy gameplay by CD-ROM. Yeah, really a blast.
So the trip here to Scotland was worth it for you.
Definitely, it's a ton of fun. It's nice to be outside of the Netherlands every once in a while. So I'm really liking it.
So you will coming back.
I will probably not every edition, but at least I might make a half yearly trip maybe.
Sounds good. Um, let's talk a bit about your first run you did, Metroid
Zero mission.
Zero Mission. What does it mean for you to speedrun Metroid? Like what is the feeling? What is the intention behind it?
Well, the Metroid series is a special series. It's the first series of games I learned to speedrun, basically. Started out with Metroid Fusion about 2 years ago. And I really enjoy the gameplay. It's very action. It's very action-based gameplay, collecting items, that kind of stuff. So you have a little bit of the games themselves are really great in terms of explorations. There's a lot of fun speed tech in there which you can work on. So that makes the games a lot of fun to run. Although Metroid Fusion itself has a lot of text. Metroid Zero Mission doesn't have as much text, so it's it has more action in comparison over the length of a run. So Metroid Zero Mission is my favorite out of the two currently.
Okay. There's also another series you are speedrunning, and that series we're gonna see tomorrow.
Yes.
That is Final Fantasy, and you're gonna show us Final Fantasy V. What would you say, except for the genre, is for you the main difference between speedrunning Metroid and speedrunning Final Fantasy?
Well, it focuses on different skill sets. I mean, yeah, I gotta have to mention the genres. Final Fantasy V, obviously an RPG. It's more You're more concerned with the strategy and keeping yourself properly to the script and adapting to any small things that may come in your way. The nice thing about Final Fantasy V, however, in comparison to Final Fantasy 1, which I also run and which you'll be running tomorrow,
Yes.
Final Fantasy 1 is dictated a lot by RNG, how many encounters you get, what encounters you get, if they're runnable or not. Final Fantasy 5 is not determined by this, and the reason for this is because Final Fantasy V in its entirety can have its RNG manipulated. So that means if you press new game and you keep following the same movements, you'll get the same outcome every time. So it's a really robust, well routed out speedrun. It's due to the fact how RNG works in that game that you can really make it run very consistent, and it's more down to runner execution compared to actual RNG.
So, and this is also the reason why you are speedrunning Final Fantasy V instead of like other games
It's
or other Final Fantasies.
it's the reason I like Final Fantasy V. Yes,
Was it your first one?
it's the first Final Fantasy I played.
Fair
Not
enough.
the first one I finished, but
Which one was that?
Final Fantasy 1. I finished Final Fantasy 1 while following the speedrun route, basically, so it was a lot more like casually strolling along the routes. And that was enjoyable. Also did the bonus dungeons of Final Fantasy 1. But in comparison, Final Fantasy 5 is a little bit. It feels. Well, it was released, obviously it was released later, so it feels a little bit more complete. It has a lot more bosses, a lot more variety. And Final Fantasy 1 is very basic in terms of what you can customize about the game. You have 4 characters, you pick their classes and you're done. That's basically most of your customization. Whereas in Final Fantasy V, you have you have a very extensive job system. You can switch jobs, you can get skills from every jobs and combine them to your heart's extent. That makes Final Fantasy V very enjoyable from a casual point of view and very interesting for a speedrun point of view, because you have a lot of options to play as.
All right. Okay. So one last question. That one might be a little bit tricky, but I'm trying to do investigative journalism here. You're also part of BSG. What is for you like the main difference between BSG and UKSG? Except for the location.
And the size. No.
and the size now.
Well, it's obviously for BSG we run for charity. We run for the Dutch Cancer Society. Raise money for charity. I heard UKSG is planning something similar. But
hopefully next time.
It's right now. BSG is more established, so it's a little bit more It's a little bit more formal in its approach, whereas this marathon is still in a stage where contact is very informal, and that's something. It's also a bit of it can come down to taste, but it's something I kind of like.
About UKSG.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah. Then I wish you the best of luck for your run tomorrow. And looking at tech, how are we in terms of setup? We are ready. Then we are about to crash our next game with Crash Bash by CD.
Hopefully we will crash.
Well, I seen Crash Bandicoot, so it is definitely Crash.
Runners need to get set up.
Yeah, we're gonna have Crash Bash 2 play any percent by CD Romoton and Few Bob True. And I'm gonna make a prediction. We're gonna hear doorbell soon. And with that, I'm giving it over to Tech.